And we're live. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
We're back
Hello.
another installation of ATAS Live. And we're being joined with Bhuvi, who's here to talk about virtual and digital collaging. So welcome again, Bhuvi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Huma. Thank you for creating this space for all of us to share resources.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what would you do you want to get into, like, letting us know what you do and what is virtual collage?
Okay. So I actually have slides to share. So what I can do is, shall I keep the slides on now, or shall I?
Why don't we start with the slides? Yeah,
okay,
let's
then
go
I
with the
can
slides.
start sharing with. Okay, I'm going to share screen.
Okay.
Share.
Okay. Yep.
1 sec. Okay, are you able to see this?
Yeah, you gotta make it. Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Okay, is this okay? So basically, digital picture collage or virtual picture collage is basically, I had to come up with this idea mainly because during the circuit breaker, when we were not allowed to practice and some of our clients were struggling to do online sessions, and everything was going online, and we suddenly had to come up with a directive or something that we can use the digital devices that we have at home to create a picture collage. Because as we all may know that most art therapists will actually have their own set of picture collages which are like physical, and we can't just like pack some and then send them, and then it's a bit, which I still did, but then I thought when I was doing like some workshops online and to advocating about art therapy, I thought, okay, maybe we should really find a way to do this online, like digitally. So I thought it was possible. So I actually discussed with my team, my colleague, and then we actually came up with a way to do digital picture collage, which was not bad. It was quite successful.
Cool. Tell us more.
So I'm going to share more about it. So shall I? Do you have any questions, or shall I begin?
Go. Huma, any questions?
No. Please go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to carry on. So basically, many of us will have the, like I shared earlier, we'll have the physical box. I actually have 2 boxes, hard work. We always collect pamphlets, sit down, cut out the images, and we try to find a variety of images as well. So I'm just going to do a quick sharing, like a comparison between a traditional picture collage and a digital picture collage. And I'll share why we are doing this, because this is not necessarily for online clients. You can also do digital picture collage with your clients on site, and I'll explain more about it later. So for traditional picture collage, it's definitely time consuming, because it depends on when you collect the pamphlets or what kind of pamphlets you have. You need to also look for a wide range of variety. So it's very, very time consuming to be really collecting the picture collage. So I really started collecting pictures even while I was studying. So I think my first year or second year already, I started collecting pictures. So by the time I started practicing, I already had a good amount of pictures to go. But if I knew about digital collage, then probably I may not have taken that much of effort.
I think I can attest to having a large amount of collage pictures as well. So
yes. It becomes like a part of your work hazard. Anytime you see pamphlets, like, oh yes, I would like to take this pamphlet so that you can cut out. Correct. Just to cut out the images that we want. But whereas for digital collage, the good thing about it is that you can really take pictures off the net, put it into a folder, and you can really look for variety, like culturally and occupation, any picture that you need. Even if you don't manage to fill up everything, right? You can always ask them to, like, okay, let's do a quick Google search on the picture that you're looking out for. So it's super time saving. So I actually prepared my folder, I think about 100 over pictures in like within less than an hour. So I thought it was very time saving, while traditional picture collage can be time consuming. And also another negative set point about traditional picture collage will be it's the lack of variety. It's really very difficult to get culturally cultural related images. So it'll be very limited. and that also kind of impedes the session sometimes. So for digital pictures will be really limitless option. You really have a wide variety, anything that you need. Like if you need a starfish, for example, and I don't have a starfish image, but they can just Google it and use a starfish, you know. And good thing about traditional is when you're on site, you're able to observe the process, like when how they are selecting their pictures, how they're sieving through the collage, the picture cutout box, and how they are, what picture do they hold on to long and what do they kept for very long and then they discard. So these are some process that you're able to see when you're doing the traditional picture collage. Whereas digital, especially if it's online, you're unable to observe the process. So let's say we're doing a Zoom session. So right now you are watching me presenting the slides. But if I'm not sharing, I'm actually selecting my pictures. You can only see my facial expression, but you can't really see which picture was selected, which picture was deleted, how they arranged, which picture did they even put onto their screen, onto their canvas, virtual canvas. And so that's something that is, because process is important in art therapy, and that may not be able to observe if you're doing it online. Another positive point about traditional is tactile. So it's really feeling that paper, that texture. It might, induce memories. Think about past memories or anything that may come up through that tactile, physical placement and physical pasting, applying the glue and pasting as a different feel altogether while you are selecting pictures, pasting and zoom. Either you're stretching it or cropping it. Digital experience, of course, is different. But I put it as neutral because there's a positive and negative aspect to it as well. Positive is because you can always resize it and add more pictures. So with tactile, if the magazine picture is a huge dog, for example, it might take up half your drawing block space. Whereas if it's digital, you can always resize it according to what is more important to you. So that is a positive factor as well. So that it's neutral. That's why I put it as a neutral sign. So it's not just positive or negative. For traditional picture collage would be element of surprise, because you really wouldn't know what you're going to sieve through, and it's really random. And sometimes when you randomly pick an image, sometimes it speaks to you. It really feels there's like an element of surprise to it. Whereas digital, it can be quite focused on, okay, I know I can get whatever picture I want. Like if I really, really want to use this, I can find it. So you may be practicing less intuitive art making, and it might be more, like you might want to just do it and pick. So there's no element of surprise as well. Then lastly, traditional is, yes, you can recycle the pamphlet. So it's a bit of a recycling part to it. But of course, we are not going to recycle the entire pamphlet. So you're still going to cut and throw. So there's still a physical pasting of a drawing block using a paper. So it's still, neutral. There's recycling element. There's also using the paper part. Whereas digital is environmentally friendly, because you're literally not going to print out anything. You're just going to save it and put it onto, you can even send it to them via email. So so these are all the points, difference between traditional and digital. So now I'm going to dive straight into, any questions so far? All good?
All good.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I'm just going to dive into the steps to create this digital picture collage. So first thing is, if you have a Dropbox account, that'll be good. Then you create a folder, and then you throw in all the pictures that you need, and try to also include any random picture. So actually I've written, going step by step will be helpful, because it's going to be really a lot of pictures. So you can start off with food, culture, gender related, maybe female, male, family, and then CCA, like scouts, MPCC, music, band, to sports, and then occupation. And then you can move down to animals and random pictures. Random pictures are very important. Emotion-inducing pictures are also important, but we also cannot overly put too much of negative or thought-provoking images. So we need to have light-hearted images as well. So we have to really throw in, because it's limitless, right? So we need to also find ourselves to. That's a bit of a struggle, but not that bad. But you still need, because you will feel that the list is growing, and then you're like, oh my God, do I have enough? Do I have enough? So this might be a question that we might be facing. So if you look at it, I have some pictures. I don't know whether you guys can see. There's angry, arguing pictures, and then there's the cultural, like a kabaya, and then there's dance. There's saris. There's just a living room, like a hall, random. So there's a lot of different types of pictures that you need to, categories that you need to decide on. And then you tick as you go along so that you are a bit organized as well. So create a folder, rename it as virtual picture collage or anything that we want to put it as. And then you throw in all the pictures. And once you have all the pictures in it, once you're ready to go, then you go to the next step, which is right click the folder and then you copy Dropbox link. So when you copy Dropbox link, you actually will have a link in your clipboard. So you can actually either email this link to yourself or you can put it in a notepad. So once you have this link, the link will be pretty long. So what you can also do is you can actually use bit.ly, bitly.com, bit.ly.com if I'm not wrong, where you can shorten the link. So once you have this link saved at some point, anywhere in your folder or even in your WhatsApp, what you can do is during your Zoom session with your clients, if you're doing it online or even like a workshop, virtual workshop. Actually, this would be great for virtual workshops. Those who want to do it for free to advocate about art therapy, you can actually do this. Copy this link and then put it in the chat. So you can, when after you introduce yourself and you're going to begin the session, then you you paste the link in the chat and then all the participants will be able to see the link. And then you invite them to open up the PowerPoint slide or they can open up a Word document, keynotes, whatever program that they can use where they can easily resize the pictures and just encourage them to just use one slide. So many of my participants from my previous sessions actually did one picture per slide. So I didn't realize, though I had a sample image, it would be good to have a sample image there to show them about how a picture collage will look like. So if they don't know, you can show that sample. If they know, then that's good. You can also encourage them that just use one slide, put in all the pictures and rearrange in whichever way that they want. So these are the two steps that I do. But if you're doing it on site, for example, you don't even need to copy the link. Because on site means the folder is there. They just have to open the PowerPoint and then they just have to drag and drop. And I think the good thing about on-site is you can actually sit next to your client and see the entire process of what picture that they're saving for, what pictures they're copying and pasting onto their canvas, which could be Word document or PowerPoint slide. So that's a good thing if it's on-site. But if it's virtual, then you have to copy link.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about Google Drive. If anyone knows about this, please feel free to comment in the chat. Or if you have a better way of doing this, also please share your experience with us in the comments below. Okay. So,
Bhuvi, before you go on, I was just thinking, you know, when you were talking about on-site and doing it virtually, it's kind of a great vessel to actually do collaging in different settings, especially with settings where you can't have any mess or you know you're very concerned about keeping things neat and tidy, or even now without sharing materials and stuff due to COVID. So even like using it on an iPad bedside in a hospice or with vulnerable client, it's a really cool idea.
Great, thank you.
And I'm also thinking with clients with who may have some kind of physical impairments or disabilities, just with a flick of the finger to be able to just pick something and just put it on some kind of a document. Kids with cerebral palsy, for instance, I was thinking it would be amazing. It is an amazing resource to have.
Yeah,
correct.
My only question here is that when you have such a large amount of, let's say, photos, pictures, would that perhaps might get a bit too overwhelming? Have you felt that? Or
You're right. It will be overwhelming. Even with the magazine picture collage, when we actually show the box, when it's like there's so many pictures, like so it's the same effect for both. So what we can do is that we usually encourage them to continue breathing and then take your time to sift through slowly. When you're done, you will know. You don't have to look through. So we can actually remind them. You don't have to literally look through. In fact, it will be good if we can actually keep the view thumbnail images. We can if we can zoom it to make it bigger, so they can scroll lightly to look through for pictures so that they can, whatever catches their eye, because at the end of the day, I'll always encourage my clients or participants to do it intuitively. So without thinking much about what they want to pick. So getting them to less gently scroll through will be good. But at the same time, I think we can also tell them that it's a lot of pictures. So prepare them so that they don't be like, oh my God, it's forever, it's not ending. So
and perhaps
it will be overwhelming.
And perhaps because you have different categories, not all clients need to see all the categories.
Yes,
it's like,
so I throw in the pictures.
Yeah.
I don't put into different folders. So all the categories is for me to know that what are inside. So I'll just throw it in and I'll do it in a shuffled manner, in a random manner. Because we don't want like suddenly there's uniform group that's coming up in one row, like, army, then scouts, then Girl Guides, we don't want like all that to be.
Oh, I see. So the categories are for you only.
For me only. So
I see.
if you see this picture, right?
Okay, I see. All right.
Yeah, so it's all, there's dance, there's school, there's like a random picture, cycling.
I get it.
See, there's be random.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you can shuffle it. Yeah. Okay. Actually, good. This is a very good point that you brought up as well. And I also wanted to share that I was quite surprised, even with this, we had difficulties with some of the participants who actually didn't have device. Some didn't have, they had laptop, but they didn't have PowerPoint. Then in that case, we had to immediately revise and modify the directive. I mean, not really directive. They didn't have to do it in a PowerPoint slide. They actually have to select the pictures and put it into a folder. Then when they share, right, they just like double click the pictures and then just move like a gallery.
So they're showing you pictures, but it's not so much about placement, but more of the images that they've chosen.
Correct. So you can't really comment on the placement and like, I mean, that is something that will be affected. But other than that, it's still worth the effort. Yeah.
Sounds very cool.
Thank you for asking questions.
No, it's cool.
Okay, great. So for people who are doing on-site, these are the things that you would need. You just need an electronic device. It can be laptop, iPad. I'm not sure what other devices that you can use. And you need like programs like PowerPoint, Keynotes, or even Microsoft Word or Pages, any canvas like where you can just throw in pictures and keep it simple so that it's not so intimidating for people. I think with the younger generation, I think all these shouldn't be an issue. And then the good thing is you still can observe the process. You just need to sit next to them and then just watch, maybe take notes if you need. And at the end of the day, you just got to save it. So that's it. For online, you got to copy the link like I shared earlier, share the link in the chat. Then sadly you are unable to observe the process. So we just have to see the final product and get them to share their process and how was it, what was the first picture. You can still verbalize and verbally ask them if they remember, or you can prep them like, oh, just pay attention to your process because I'll be asking some questions later. And then the client shares the screen and then they talk about it, you can interact, and then once it ends, they just can email you the artwork if you need a copy, if it's a proper session and not a workshop.
Yeah. Just suddenly this thought that this could be actually both for on-site and online. I mean, it would be a lovely way of actually making a journal. And it's much faster. It's easier. It's easier to store. It's not bulky. You don't need this.
It can even be a digital journal.
Yeah. So just put it in the form of a journal, and you can go back and forth. In fact, you can.
Awesome.
For people who are more, let's say, well-versed with technology, they can go back, they can transform the images, they can, do so many things with them.
Correct. You're right.
A lot of potential.
Yeah. I mean, it started off thanks to Circuit Breaker. I wasn't planning to do this, but I had to. But by sharing this, I think we are all learning and expanding further, because I never thought of a digital journal for those who are not into old school book type, you know what I mean? It'll be very quick. They can just take a snap of a picture or a place, whatever they are feeling, and then they can put it in and write words. Yeah, actually, that's amazing. It's a good idea to expand on for whoever who's watching us live today. Yeah.
Actually, now that we're talking, more ideas are coming into my head as well. I mean, you could actually do a whole like a selfie Today, this
like
is
a self-portrait. Emotions.
Yes, and I think with kids, it would work really well. They'd be very, very inspired to do something like that.
Yeah, true. And
they love using devices, so it would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. So I'm going to end the slide. Anybody have any questions, please feel free to ask now, and we can continue talking. I'm going to stop sharing. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's
Sure.
okay.
Okay. Finally, I can see you guys.
Yay!
Sorry.
No, thank
So
you for
weird to
sharing
talk
that.
without.
Yeah,
most
without
welcome, most
seeing.
welcome. Yeah.
I thought that was an excellent way of doing something. I mean, we don't often think we need to go outside what we're so used to doing. And, it takes something like circuit breaker to push us to that place, and,
Really
a
was,
pandemic to push us to a place where we're trying different things and we're learning different things. I mean, it's like Huma was saying, it's you can think of so many things to do with it.
Yeah. While you're
That's
just
the best
talking
part.
and sharing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the best part about being an art therapist, because creativity is literally creating anything. So
Yeah, it's just,
with this, Uma just expanded further into like emotional self-portrait to digital journal.
Because I
There's so many.
suddenly started thinking of a few clients, who could actually
Awesome.
benefit from this. Because
Perfect.
what happens is
I'm so
you
happy
see
to hear.
someone once a week and then they go home, right? And then you lose that connection for that 1 week. But
True.
this is something that you can continue to do through the week. Collect the photos, the images, whatever, and then come back and just
so, and share what the photos mean to you as you go into it. Just
you can even type and write down some comments.
Just say, I saw this online, really like this, and
Awesome.
this is what I felt about it, and then they come in and they share it. And some clients might even send you a text and said, this photo really resonates with me. I guess it depends on the client, the population that you're working with, and
true, I agree. But it's amazing. I really enjoyed sharing. I hope I'm not sure whether it's a long-winded method or if it's a good idea. Please do comment and share, and also comment if you feel that there's a better way of doing this, or like Huma just shared about digital journal, or having a self-portrait through photographs whenever you're feeling whichever way, and we can just share, keep the ideas coming, so we gather our own pool of resources. This is going into the resource.
Yeah, I love the idea of a digital journal. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah,
kind of like the whole blog,
like
blog
the old
idea,
school.
like the old school blog, but slightly different.
Correct.
Yeah.
Obviously not being shared to one and all, but it's quite an interesting idea.
And the interesting thing is, go on. Sorry, Rachel.
One of the things I was thinking about was how you put all the photos into one folder, and I'm wondering how that would be different if you sort of had, maybe 20 pictures per category.
Then they have to click open each time they have to go in.
Yeah, and I wonder how that will
play. Yeah.
Because I know some art therapists who have different boxes for different categories.
You'll have different folders with like animals, and that can be done.
And so I'm wondering how that, it's quite an interesting way of working.
Yeah, that gives you slightly more. I mean, if you have certain directives in mind, the categories make it a little bit more helpful for you to, for the therapist to kind of direct the session.
Yeah. Then you can have two types. One, you can have as you're categorizing them, and then another one, you have a random folder with every image. That means you just copy paste everything into another folder.
Exactly.
Have the one without category and with category. I mean, it's digital, right? We can do everything.
Yeah, but I think it's a fantastic resource. So guys, do you have any questions for us? Anyone who's watching? Any thoughts? Bhuvi, while we wait for some questions to come in, what were you gonna say just now?
I wanted to share that actually when I was doing this to advocate about art therapy, I was doing it like a free session to let people experience art therapy. So I actually did this online digital picture collage with them. And actually it was very, I was quite impressed because it was still effective. The way they place their pictures, it still is as though they're pasting. So their way, how do I say, the intuitive way of making, and how they even neatly arrange it. Some will not, some will put it in a particular way. Then there's the central image, which will usually resonate with their entire like their main self, like family is the most important, then the image about family will be right in the middle. So the placement still plays a part, even in a PowerPoint slide, and I felt that it was still accurate about how people place their pictures and shared and spoke about it. Yeah, so
My
it
only
was not
question, yeah, sorry, I'm just wondering, like usually the session is about an hour long, right? If it's an individual session on Zoom. So this is actually, it's a pretty, I think it's a pretty fast, quick method of sifting
it'll still
through
take time.
I'm just wondering because I mean, you do it in like what, 10 minutes and then what?
Actually, they will actually will tell them the time that's given to them. So like, usually I'll say you're going to
Okay.
spend 20 minutes on just looking through the pictures and selecting. Take your time, continue breathing as you're doing this. Don't if you're feeling overwhelmed, take a break if you need. But just a reminder, you don't have to look through everything. If you want to, you can. If you have a specific image that you're really looking out for, you can Google and get that picture out of the net and put it into your PowerPoint slide. Usually I'll tell them you have 20 minutes. So they roughly know, okay, I got 20 minutes, So some may finish on time and earlier. Then we tell them to maybe, why don't you if you made your arrangement, like if you done your arrangement of the pictures, if you're done, then take a moment to reflect on these pictures and what are you going to share later. So I just get them some time because usually I do this in group. So some will finish early, some will really take a lot of time. So I have to manage that, and then I'll give maybe 5 more minutes extension for those who are still trying to figure things out and putting things together. And once that's done, about 25 minutes, then we have the remaining half an hour or 20 minutes to actually talk about it. And usually the talking is one that's going to take very
And you
finish in 10 minutes.
do you include any music in the sessions when they're
I
doing the collage?
don't.
Okay.
Because I feel that for me personally, music influences my choice of selection. So if you want that, then you can add the music. Because I feel maybe drum beat, you might have a particular, because music is really emotion inducing.
Absolutely.
So it might suit to choose a particular type of image. So that can be a separate directive altogether. For music,
exactly.
You want to. Usually I use picture collage for self-introduction, like introduce yourself through pictures. So you're going to choose like memories that may pop up or things that you've done, things you hate, things you like, anything that stands out for you, then pick and paste it so that you can share it with us. And if let's say they finish in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it's okay. The remaining can be conversation about the pictures. We can even, if enough time, we can expand one more picture out and then see what we would want to add.
We do have a question.
Okay.
Do participants share their screen as they're creating the collage?
Okay, this is a very good question. So I also have thought about this, but the problem here is, if I'm not wrong, for Zoom, if you're going to share screen, you can only share either the folder or the PowerPoint slide. So if they're going to be toggling back and forth, you can only see one
or the other.
Yes. So what they can do is they can share screen with the PowerPoint slide, and then you just wait there and see what pops up each time.
What pops up inside the PowerPoint slide.
Or you only see the folder where they are scrolling through and copying and even when they are copy, because they will Control C, Command C, right? So you can't exactly tell which picture they are copying unless they're going to right click. So I would suggest maybe you can try share screen only the PowerPoint slide, and then you wait for it to come up and see them arranging.
And see.
But when because I do is group session, then everyone can't share screen. But if it's individual session, yes, you can get them to share screen and then you can see how you can play around, whichever that's more useful. Along the way, we will find our way to make it better.
I think the idea of just watching the images pop into the PowerPoint
and then moving
around. And because I guess it's you're not necessarily watching them click and drag, but you are watching what's coming into the space.
And
I guess you can also enlarge and shrink images, right?
Yeah. So that's a good thing, because at least you can see part of the process, which is still very useful compared to seeing nothing. In group session, I see nothing. I just see their faces and I'll just wait, oh my God, what's going to come up,
Okay, guys, we've got 1 minute before we finish. Thank you, Bhuvi, so much for coming on and sharing this amazing tool that
Thank
is, definitely helpful in so many areas. We hope you guys
I'm
have
glad.
enjoyed watching this and learning. Just a very quick update. We will be running more workshops soon, including one with Gretchen Miller that we will have as a Zoom session. So these are open only to ATAS members. And if you join now, it's $75 for the remaining part of the year. So we really look forward to having you join us and be part of our conversations and be part of the community.
And share more resources with one another, and we can continue growing it.
Yes,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
Huma
you.
for
Thank you
being
so
here,
much.
and Luvi for
pleasure
doing this.
always.
All
For
right.
always providing this platform for one another to share. I'm really, really thankful, and I'm glad I'm able to share.
We're so
something
grateful
useful.
that you can come on board with us and do this.
Yay.
It's fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll see you
Have
again
a good night
soon.
rest, everyone. Bye.
Bye.